hearing of the U.S. Senate Subcommittee on Rural Development and Energy to order. I'd like to start by recognizing, first of all, it's wonderful to have the witnesses here, and I just want to start out by acknowledging what's happened in Vermont. We've had tremendous flooding, a great deal of suffering, homes and businesses, in our water systems have been, in many cases, the town of Johnson, I'll speak about a little bit, but overwhelmed. And it's a timely hearing because there's a lot of vulnerability in a lot of our water and septic systems, especially in rural America, all around the country. And many of our towns, Johnson, Richmond, Woodstock, Morrisville, and Barry, are under boil water orders right now, and that's pretty tough on folks. And on Friday with Senator Sanders and Congresswoman Ballant, we toured Johnson, Vermont, and the wastewater treatment plant was a complete loss. It was amazing. The plant was underwater for 2 days. They had 8 feet of water in the first floor. That's after the basement was flooded. The plant typically takes in 270,000 gallons in a day. It was taken in 1.25 million. The system was outdated, and that's just one example where we had that terrible rain. But from many of the communities that you all represent could probably report outdated systems as well. And these weather events with climate change is getting more and more frequent, and it's more and more urgent that we try to make our systems resilient. One bright spot in the flooding last week is that some of the resiliency work that was done after we had Tropical Storm Irene, that was in 2011, actually made a big difference. FEMA did something where we were able to build back to higher standards as opposed to just what we had. And it's a real argument, I think, for resilience going forward, anticipating the scope of storms that we may have to contend with. In these well-functioning water systems, as you all know, are absolutely essential to rural communities, the health and the safety and the economy of rural communities. And some of the rural communities we have aging or insufficient systems. That's particularly true in lower income communities, many of which have significant challenges facing, in many cases, Black and Hispanic people and people of color. Many of these systems are facing obstacles, and this is true in all of our rural communities, where they have small systems, little funding. Challenges make regular investments in infrastructure impossible, and managing and governing capacity. So all those are big challenges, and when you don't have a tax base to be able to get the resources you need, it makes it very, very tough. So we've got some terrific witnesses here today. Joe Duncan, it's good to have you. President of Green Mountain Water Environment Association, and Jennifer Day, Director of Development. You have firsthand experience with these issues in Vermont, and we look forward to hearing from you. One of our witnesses today, Catherine Coleman Flowers, has spent years fighting for her home community in Lowndes County, Alabama. And I just want to acknowledge your presence and the work you've done over all these years. And what I understand is that one of the incredible effects of not having proper water and septic systems is that there can be real illness. And I understand 34% of the county residents that were tested positive for hookworm because of the pollution. So that is a situation that we don't want anywhere. The USDA Rural Development Program has programs to help small and rural communities. That's to maintain and improve their water systems. And among those programs is technical assistance, which is in real demand in these small communities where they don't have the technical capacity. And that's helpful in evaluating, planning, drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. There are also some grants and loans for construction, although not enough. Communities at every step of the process can benefit from the USDA water programming. And in the Farm Bill, I'm hopeful that we can increase funding where we can and protect funding where we need to. there is a money issue here. How do you afford to do what needs to be done? So we look forward to hearing from our witnesses, and before we do, I want to turn it over to my colleague, the ranking member, Senator Tuberville. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr.